Hi everyone, it's Simon Keeling here, weatherweb.net, and it is Wednesday the 8th of January. Thanks again for watching. Models all slipping into cold mode today as we look into next week. More on that in just a moment. Just a reminder about WeatherWeb being kept free of charge by you, basically, because when you come back and use the site, it means that we can put more adverts in front of you, which means that we generate more revenue, which keeps the site free of charge. So thank you for doing that. Now, as I say, temperatures falling off as we head through the next few days. This is the latest from the GFS, taking us up to the 16th. And you see the fall off in temperature here steadily taking place over the coming days. Certainly turning cooler from where we are at the moment at sort of 10 degrees. It's looking like maximums more like 5 degrees by the time we're getting into the middle part of next week. And this is from the ECMWF operational. This one shows temperatures dipping off as well. Note that this is temperatures at 850 millibars, so 5,000 feet, but good for a trend. And you see here, look, we're getting down to minus 10s at 5,000 feet, or 850 millibars, by the middle part of next week. Haven't seen that for some time. And the ECMWF ensemble also showing a similar thing, look, with this downward trend in temperature. Doesn't make it quite so cold as the operational, more like a minus 4 at 850, but that's still cold enough compared to how conditions have been recently. And finally, temperature trace from the Canadian, down it goes, look, into the weekend and into the early part of next week. This one only taking us up to Saturday, but you can see there the trend is generally downward. Now, the reason for this is a change in the circulation pattern in the atmosphere, and this has been hinted at for several weeks now. We've got the ECMWF on the left here, we've got the GFS on the right. These are the 7 to 10 day means of the 500 millibar flow. So we're taking the period from next Wednesday through to next Saturday, the 18th, and averaging out the two and comparing two different models. And you can see here, look, on the ECMWF, it builds this ridge out in the Atlantic, still got the trough out here in the States, which is still feeding in cold air down through central parts of the States. Out in the Eastern Atlantic, though, we have another trough in here, look, and heights building here towards the north of the UK. Now, what that does is it's building the heights northwards as warm air pumps north, but it then brings the flow back into a northeasterly, which brings colder air in down here across Iberia and puts lower pressure in here, so we get this colder easterly flow. GFS also showing that as well. Here's the ridge, look, here's the trough developing off across Europe. Here's the build of heights up towards the north, and it's this resultant flow from the east to northeast that drags in that cold air off the continent. Now, subtle difference between the ECMWF and the GFS. ECMWF is a little bit further south with the low than the GFS. So GFS certainly going for more of a battleground across the country and would increase the risk of us seeing some sleet and snow. ECMWF basically keeps the far south of the country in the snow risk. Northern areas, though, out of it a little bit more. Now, I don't need to go and run away and say, oh, Simon says it's going to snow next week, because that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying at the moment is models backing up the idea that excuse me, it is cooler, and there is the chance that it could snow, and we could get a spell of proper winter weather. Now, again, I'm almost afraid to use the phrase winter, but I know that you watching this are intelligent enough to know that when I say winter, I just mean colder weather, that's all. You know, we're not talking about the depths of winter that is in the States at the moment. We're just talking about normal sort of winter temperatures. Anyway, let's just compare between the models. This is the ECMWF operational for the 18th. So this is when are we? We're in 10 days time. So this is for a week on Saturday. And what this one shows is the low down over Iberia, look, and high pressure off towards the east. Basically what's happened here is this is the ridge that's pumped northwards. It's allowed these heights to build out here, but then it's fed in this northeasterly flow, and the cold pool of air is sat down here, down towards the south of the coast. Looking at the ECMWF ensemble, same date again, very, very similar. Ridge here, we've got the trough in here as well, look, so we've got low pressure here, higher pressure here, and we've got that resultant east to northeasterly, sorry, we haven't got an east to northeasterly, have we? We've actually got a resultant southeasterly flow. There you go, see, even I get confused. And then looking at the GEM, which is the Canadian, same time again, this one looking more winter-like. And actually, give the Canadian their dues. They were the first one to really spot this and go into this pattern. The others have tended to follow suit with this. And very often, the GEM is the first model that manages to pick up on colder outbreaks of air. So we'll see what the updates bring later on, but I think the accolades for this one probably have to go to the GEM. And as I say, it is them that we watch for picking up on cold outbreaks. They're usually the first out the stalls with that one. Here's the ridge though out in the west. Look, here's the sympathetic trough down here. There's the low. Here's the high sat out here. Another high sat out here. A cold easterly flow. And I've got to say, out of all of them, you know, this one actually looks the most plausible. Maybe a little bit quick, but certainly I think looks the most plausible. And actually the GFS ensemble not far behind. Look, ridge, trough in here, low down here, high out here is the east or northeasterly flow. So certainly there is this leaning towards this colder trend. And what we probably find is that as this ridge just builds its way northwards all the time up here, you get warm air that's pumping up here, you see. It's building the ridge. What it will do is attract the high into this sort of region here, and as the flow edges down from the northeast like so, pumps in to this low down here, it feeds this low, keeps it going, and basically it results in the scenario that we saw on the Canadian there, with a stronger easterly flow developing. And it's just interesting to see how these things develop, isn't it? I wanted to show you this. This is the GFS 500 millibar height and anomalies. This is valid for today. Look, here's the ridge pumping northwards. So these orangey colours you can see in here, showing us where the heights are higher than normal. Low the normal heights here, look. They brought about by the flow doing that, bringing colder air a long way south into the Atlantic, which lows the heights out here. Now, by Friday of this week, we've got a trough sat out in the Atlantic in here, so the flow doing something like so, and the ridge, though, continuing to pump northwards here as warmer air pumps in. There's the axis of the ridge you can see there. Now, watch what happens out here. Because by Sunday, what we're starting to find is this trough still here, look, but elongating, and it's kind of trying to split into two. We've still got the build here, look, which is building the ridge in here, but then watch what happens to this section here. It's starting to break off through here, look. We're starting to get this return flow coming back north, pumping the warm air north, builds the high up here, look. Still got the ridge out in the far west of the Atlantic with the heights building through here. And a return flow from that ridge down here, which is creating the lower heights here. But then into Tuesday, look, that trough out in the Atlantic splits. The ridge can get in between it. It builds the heights in here. This continues to fall here, and we find these two distinct areas sat in here, while we've got higher than normal heights to the north. And then by Wednesday, this whole area is starting to slip down, look, into central parts of Europe. Here's the return flow coming back into the north of the trough here. Here's the ridge pumping northwards, building warm air, which is all the time building the heights up towards the north. And that forces this system south into the Mediterranean. So lots going on, and actually it's quite a complicated set of cogs that need to fall into place in order for that cold air to develop, but certainly it looks like the chances are that it will be there. And the good news is that we actually see the back, hopefully, of these relentless storms. And this chart from the GFS ensemble showing rainfall predictions for the next 15 days actually highlights it quite well. This is day 1 to 5, and notice that still looking at an inch or so of rain within this sort of region here. This is basically today's rain. Then looking at day 5 to 10, which takes us out to next Saturday, a week on Saturday, seeing much reduced totals. And for the following days, so day 11 to day 15, which takes us out into the middle of the week after next, again, total rainfall amounts are way down on what we've been seeing lately. So let's hope these floods start to relent. So just time for a quick whiz through what's going to happen over the next couple of days, or the next 5 days at least. Or is it 6 days? I can't remember. Anyway, this is the chart for today. This is for Wednesday. We got this feature moving northeast at the moment. Going to be bringing some heavy rain overnight, particularly to northern Wales, northern parts of England, parts of the Midlands as well. Could bring some localised flooding. That will be clearing away eastwards on Thursday morning, and I think the last of the rain probably leaving northeastern coast during the middle part of Thursday morning. That then clears off, the winds come round into a cooler northwesterly direction. A few showers across the north and the west through the course of Thursday, feeling cooler And then the ridge of high pressure building in for Friday, bringing us a frost for Friday morning. Some good spells of sunshine around on Friday morning though, but then cloud increasing from the west, bringing outbreaks of rain into more western areas during the course of Friday itself. That front pushing its way eastwards, but tending to fade as it does so, and we find high pressure building during the course of Saturday. Now I think there will be some mist and murk around during Saturday, a fair amount of low cloud, drizzle across many central and southern areas, bits and pieces of rain for western Scotland, eastern areas probably faring best of all, and basically a bit of a murky winter's day I think on Saturday, quite cool as well. Sunday starts to see changes taking place, so a real change in pattern. The high slips eastwards look, and we pick up this east-southeasterly flow. Now there could be some fog around during the morning, particularly across more eastern parts of the country, but out towards the west we find cloud decreasing as these fronts move in, outbreaks of rain developing, tending to become more persistent over western areas during the day, but many northern and eastern parts staying dry right throughout, and the winds increasing out in the west as well, and starting to feel pretty cold as well as that southeasterly picks up. And then on Monday, well, this is one that we have to watch. Low pressure across the south. We've got an east to southeasterly flow. Cooler air being dragged in all the time off the continent. Got to watch for the threat of this turning to snow on its leading edge. Bit of uncertainty as to exactly where that leading edge is, but if this scenario comes about, then this is perhaps a little bit of a taste of winter across Ireland, Wales and England. Drier further north, a real raw feel to the day down these eastern coasts with a strong wind chill and some outbreaks of rain. Jury's out on Monday basically as to exactly what happens. Details difficult to come by, but certainly it does look, doesn't it, from all those models we looked at earlier, as if cool weather is on its way. So enough of my witterings for now. Thanks again for watching weatherweb.net. Whatever you're doing, have a great day. Don't forget you can follow us on Twitter at WXWeb and do a search on Facebook under Weather School and you can follow us on there as well. But for now, thanks for watching. Whatever you're doing, have a great day and keep the sun shining. Bye for now.